Some time in there? Yeah, we should be all right. So how's it going, everybody? It's your good friend Pozzible here, and I got Joe.
Hello.
Frank and Bucky are dead. We killed them. But no, actually, they just took off. We're back for the next summer preview, and we're already in July. Can you believe it? And it's still May.
Yeah.
You know, May is only... This summer is just flying by, which is good. It gets really hot in Arizona.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off with The Lone Ranger. You know what, guys? I know The Lone Ranger has this Wild Wild West feel to it. The Will Smith movie that didn't do so well back in the day, and Johnny Depp kind of looks, I don't know, a little over the top. You know,
that's my biggest downside of this movie. I mean, I was real interested when I first heard of a Lone Ranger movie. I used to play with the 12-inch action figure as a kid. I had a Lone Ranger and a Spider-Man. I used to love my Lone Ranger figure. The problem is, this is what kind of surprised me with it. I love Johnny Depp. I like his style. I don't think it works good in this movie. To me, I was really excited about this movie until I saw him, and I just think, yeah. You know,
when this movie was coming out, I was somewhat against it because of the way they were always talking about Johnny Depp and Tonto, and I felt like they were going to make the Lone Ranger himself into a comic relief character. That it was all going to be about Tonto, but watching the movie, the previews, I don't get that feel. I get a feel that they are going to do justice to the story.
Yeah, like I said, I'm interested in this one. I'm really... This surprised me. I'm not looking forward to Johnny Depp as Tonto.
Right.
I loved him as Captain Jack Sparrow. I loved him as Ichabod Crane in Sleepy Hollow. I just don't feel that for what I want from a Lone Ranger movie, he's going to be the right person for that role.
Right. Ultimately, I started off as a doubter. I saw the previews. I was sold. So ultimately, I'm really excited. I'm going to see it, give it the old college try, and hopefully make it happen.
Yeah, I'm interested as well.
The picture here doesn't do it justice either. You look at Johnny Depp, he kind of looks at the Lone Ranger like he's the weirdo,
Yeah.
And but they did explain the mask. They do explain the silver and everything. And it's got the reason why I got more excited is because of the Pirates of the Caribbean feeling to it, where you have the action, you got some of the realism, the original Pirates, not the Pirates that has come out nowadays.
Oh, not the one with the Penelope Cruz you're talking about.
Yeah,
you're talking like a Black Pearl.
The original, yeah, the Black Pearl, Keira Knightley, the first one. After that, they kind of went very crazy. They went into places they shouldn't have gone to, and it just didn't work. But I mean, they're still making those movies. It's Disney. I'll give it a chance. I'm looking forward to it. I just hope they don't let me down.
Yeah, me too.
But if this one doesn't work for you, maybe Despicable Me 2 will do it.
This one was actually a surprise. I wasn't looking forward to this one, but after watching the trailer, I mean, it was some things that didn't make me laugh out loud. But it was like I found a lot of humor.
Exactly. They have the usual humor elements. Everything's sort of crazy. It's animated. He's got his sidekick. He's got his daughter. He's a happy single father now. But now there's another villain that he's got to face. And the funny thing is, they really didn't tell you who this other villain was. That wasn't the point of the trailer. They introduced you just to him and this, their own version of the Justice League / Avengers. What is it, like the Anti-Villain League or something? Yeah, something like that.
The Anti-Villain Association or something.
Exactly. You know what? There is one category I gotta create. You know how we talk about see it, pass on it, decide for yourself. This movie I'm gonna give a safe. I feel like this is just going to be a safe movie. I don't think adults are going to be climbing the wall, but the kids are going to love it. If you can't see Lone Ranger, go see this one. But I think Lone Ranger is going to be just as good for kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Johnny Depp's kind of good with that, getting the humor in there.
And not being too graphic in the violence or anything. Right. And even this one's going to have some violence and some craziness, doing impossible things with gadgets and cars and everything.
Like the lipstick taser.
Yeah. Or, just driving their car off into the river. But then again, they did that for James Bond, so why not? Yeah. Right? All right, next up. Okay, this is one, Joe. What did you think, Pacific Rim? Did you get the gist of this movie here?
Yeah, it was... I kind of am very interested in it. I probably... I won't see this one in theaters, but I definitely want to see this one when it comes out on DVD. I definitely want to see it.
This is one of those movies where I don't really worry about whether or not I'll like it, but I definitely want it to succeed. This brings back the mega monster movies.
Yes.
The Godzillas, the Mothras.
Wasn't there one scene in the trailer where the guys, those things pulling a boat behind them?
Not just an oil tanker.
Yes.
Humongous oil tanker.
That gave us that feel.
Yeah, he used it as a back. Because just so you guys know, the bottom line is, we're just living our lives. Everything's hunky-dory. But now, from the depths of the water, not from space above, from the depths of the water, mega monsters come out. And at first we start to win.
Right.
But then, things change and we're starting to lose again. So what do? We develop these humongous mega robots. And it takes like 3 or 4 people. Here's a blast from the past. And yes, I actually saw it. Robo-Jocks.
Oh, jeez.
I know. For those who do not know, and this is going even back further, there used to be this, if you saw Avatar, imagine what those machines were like in Avatar, but much, much bigger, and they were called mech warriors, and they could run around. They were very slow, and I tried them a few times. I did not like them because they were slow, but you had all this armor and bombs and guns and everything. Of course, I always ran out because I'm a terrible shot.
Yeah, me too.
But it has that same look and feel, only now it looks better, it feels better. Like I said, I don't know if this is going to be good or not, but that said, I just wanted to make it because I want movies like this to succeed. I want people to give some respect to these mega monster movies, and I hope it makes it.
Yeah, me too.
Next up, Grown Ups 2. Here's my real problem. You guys know me by now. If you don't, just watch my other stuff, you'll learn about me. I don't like the lame white guy, crazy white guys. Let's go out and just say whatever we want, do whatever we want, have there be none of the real consequences, right? That said, this is a sequel. And sequels to these kind of movies always go more over the top, and they get worse and worse and worse. The other thing is, and he brought this upon himself to say this, it's Adam Sandler. And he has not done anything right lately. I don't know. I mean, we didn't really see a preview to this.
Yeah.
We don't really know what this movie's about because it's one of those things where I didn't have the heart.
Yeah.
I've seen Adam Sandler previews. I've seen That's My Boy and Jack and Jill, and I'm like, okay, I just can't take no more. So. I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they turn it around. But yeah, I have to say, guys, good luck, Adam Sandler. Good luck, Kevin James, Chris Rock, David Spade. Go get them and prove me wrong. Next up, you gotta love this.
Yeah.
It is Red 2. You've got basically the group of people where when you look at them, you have only one question to say. What are we going to do without them? Without the Bruce Willis, without the John Malkoviches, without, the Catherine Zeta-Jones and the Helen Mirren. No offense, guys, but let's face it, these guys are not, they don't have much more in them. They can't keep this up. The pace and everything is just too much. I have high hopes for this movie. I love them because if there's anything, they've got Anthony Hopkins in it, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to use him, but he's a weirdo. He's a wacky guy, and you gotta love anything Anthony Hopkins is in because he's just so crazy, But he's so good. He brings a realism, and he brings a sincerity and an honesty to all his characters that you buy his insanity. When he does it, because let's face it, what is he doing? He's the crazy white guy, right? But when it's him, it's gonna be funny.
Anthony Hopkins is probably the best part, I think.
Well, Helen Mirren also Helen Mirren also is going to be awesome because she's like this, badass who's killing people still and beating people up. And I'm anxious for Mary Louise Parker because remember, she's not the spy. She's the regular person who's just dating Bruce Willis. They just want to lead a normal life, but a humongous job comes up, and now they got to take it on. So we're looking forward to seeing what these guys have in store for us. It looks funny.
Yep.
High hopes.
Very high hope.
Next up, the R.I.P.D. Yes, it's a ripoff of Men in Black. Get over it. Okay, it still looks good. Opinion.
Yeah, I gotta admit, I did kind of like it just from what I saw in the trailer. Definitely got me interested.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those crazy things. The one thing I like is that here's the biggest difference. One, people do not see them like this. Jeff Bridges is seen as a supermodel, and Ryan Reynolds is seen as an elderly Chinese guy. But they're very durable. You know, they can get punched, they can fall off buildings, they can get hurt. It still hurts, but it won't kill them,
right?
Because they're already dead. You know, so I'm looking forward for more of the explanation. Yes, it's a Men in Black ripoff. Everything's the same, only now they're dead.
Yeah,
you know, as opposed to there being aliens. But that's okay. Let them have it. You know, it still looks good. It still looks worthy. That said, we're back to The Conjuring. And why do I say we're back? Because we've seen this before. Oh, how many times? You know, I mean, let's face it. It's one thing for people to say, oh, look at all the superhero movies. The superhero movies are good.
Yeah.
These are the haunted movies. These are the, you know, jump out and go boo movies, okay? Yeah, seen it. Been there, done that. Now, maybe the one reason this movie will work is because there's been so much time since we've had a scary movie. But let's face it, it's coming out in July. It's still 3 months too early. This is a Halloween movie. You know?
Yeah.
It's ghosts. And you know what, guys? Let me tell you how it works. These ghost hunter comes in and they find a house that's haunted, and now they've got real problems. So guess what they're going to do? Surprise! They're going to go into the past, learn the history of why these ghosts became ghosts, and try to fix whatever's bothering them. Sound familiar? Well, The Ring, The Grudge, you know, Insidious, all these things. Woman in Black, which is sequels coming up to, believe it or not, and what was the latest one? Mama. Yeah. Been there, done that way too many times. So he didn't even see Joe hasn't seen the trailer yet.
Right.
I didn't bother. It's like, you know what? We've seen it. You know, too many times. All right, next up. If you're not going to see Ryan Reynolds in R.I.P.D., maybe you should see Ryan Reynolds in Turbo. That's right. He's a snail who gets this ability to, you know, go real fast.
This one actually, again, it looked kind of interesting.
You know what's going to happen, though, Joe?
What?
I can guarantee you one thing. As Turbo nears the end, that he gets ready for the big final race, guess what's going to happen?
He'll lose his speed.
He'll lose his powers all of a sudden. And then just before the race or somehow, some way, he'll get them back.
During the race, probably.
Yeah, probably during the race or something like that. But you know what? In the end, it's going to be funny. It's going to be cute. It's going to be safe for the kids. You just got to love these movies. You know, grant you they're remakes and rehashes of what we already know. But, hey, what is it nowadays? Doesn't mean it's not going to be good, you know?
Right.
So we got Turbo and then the Wolverine.
I'm a huge Hugh Jackman fan. I like I'm a huge comic book nerd. I love X-Men, Wolverine. Wolverine's probably one of my favorite X-Men. I got high hopes for this one.
I have very high hopes. Now, grant you, they're going down the road we always expect them to go down. They already had the second one where they introduced us to who he was and how he became who he became.
Right.
But now, he's going to Japan, which was one of the endings of the first Wolverine.
Right.
And and that's where he learns to speak Japanese and read Japanese. That was always the most hilarious thing about the comic books. I'll never forget when they were working with Wolverine. All of a sudden, they're in Japan, and Wolverine was telling them what was going on, and they were asking a question. He goes, I don't know. All I know is what I read in the papers. And he's reading a Japanese paper. You know, and Cyclops was like, wow, I didn't know you read Japanese, you know? So he's like, well, now you know. And so a lot of this is in Japan, which I have high hopes for. The problem is that they're doing one of my Now Stop That's. And I haven't done a Now Stop That in a while. But here's the Now Stop That I'm bringing up. Stop trying to destroy the lair. You know, I just saw Iron Man 3. They blew up his house. I saw Batman. How many times have they blown up the Batcave?
That's all right. He can afford to rebuild.
I'm just
Batman.
saying. Well, yeah, he's really going to hire people who, you know, silence on the pain of death.
Oh, that's true.
Type of construction. But you know what? When it comes to Wolverine, he meets up with a guy whose life he saved a long time ago. You'll never guess where, during Hiroshima. He saves his life from the atomic blast. He doesn't stuff him in a
lead-lined
refrigerator. Yeah.
No, we'd have to have Harrison Ford for that.
But apparently, from what I understand, he's able to protect this guy from the heat while keeping the door shut from the outside. So of course he's going to get burned. But that's no big deal for Wolverine because he's Wolverine.
He's got the regenerative powers, the adamantium on his skeleton.
Well, no, he didn't have the adamantium on his skeleton then.
Okay.
But
you're right.
But he would have still saved the guy's life, and the guy would know his secrets and everything, which brings us to the interesting moral dilemma here. The guy knows that Wolverine is immortal, because he can heal, and so he never ages. That said, he offers Wolverine a chance to be human again, to lose his regenerative abilities. And Wolverine basically, eventually I take it he says yes, because you see him getting hurt, but he's not healing anymore.
Right.
And it reminds me of Superman 2.
When he gave up his powers to be with Lois Lane.
Exactly. And so now he's getting, so at one point he gets the crap beat out of him, and he sees, his blood on him, realizing that he just got beat up by a bunch of worthless punks because he doesn't have his powers anymore. And Wolverine's in a similar situation like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Now, also, here's my question. How does he really expect to keep the adamantium in his system without his healing powers? Because, there was this one X-Men comic strip where they did this one guy in space removed the all the powers from all the mutants. He sent out a signal that suppressed the mutant gene.
Right.
So Jubilee couldn't use her powers anymore. Toad became a handsome prince. All of us, and even the Blob just became a fat guy with too much skin. But Toad was so happy. He was like, wow, there is a guy who's looking at something in the mirror. One problem was there was this one family, though, that could live underwater. They had gills and everything. But one of their children were deep under the water. And when he suddenly lost his mutant ability, he couldn't breathe underwater anymore, and he couldn't get up in time, so he actually drowned. So it was a deadly situation, but you saw Wolverine there in his original outfit because it was still the '90s comic, and but he was looking really roughed up, like he couldn't handle himself because he wasn't healing anymore, and he was in advanced stages of adamantium poisoning.
Oh yeah.
And so that was a change of pace. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that in this case, making him mortal again. I look forward to it. It's Wolverine, so of course, and it's Hugh Jackman, so I look forward to it. So now that's it for July. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
We're going to head into August right now, guys, and wrap up the summer. So we'll see you soon.
Take it easy.